Toto Wolff calls it genius, and he is definitely not saying it as praise. Away from the spotlight at Silverstone, Mercedes and Ferrari are locked in a battle over something fans in the grandstands will never actually see: energy. Specifically, how long each car can keep delivering electrical power from its battery during every lap. Right now, Mercedes has the advantage. Ferrari does not. Lewis Hamilton has already admitted his Ferrari loses electrical power before the end of the straights. So when Ferrari arrives at his home Grand Prix with a solution aimed at that exact weakness, the reaction from the Mercedes garage says more than words ever could. The question is simple: how does a car that runs out of power on the straights end up setting the pace at a circuit built around long, flat-out sections and high-speed corners? The answer isn't extra horsepower. It comes down to energy deployment. How long the hybrid system can keep supplying electrical power before the battery fades. A car that deploys energy later and more efficiently reaches the next corner carrying more speed without anything extra. At Silverstone, where so much of the lap is spent flat out, that advantage can decide the entire weekend. Hamilton has been open about the problem. As he put it, "Ours tails off. Exiting slower corners, the Ferrari feels strong and competitive. But as the straight continues, the electrical boost disappears. And while rivals keep accelerating, the Ferrari loses momentum. Not through the corners, but on the simplest part of the lap, where the driver is just holding the throttle flat." Now put that car around Silverstone. Copse rewards cars with energy still available on exit. Maggots and Beckett's demands enough energy to hold speed through a brutal sequence of direction changes. Then the Hangar and Wellington straights turn any deployment weakness from a technical detail into something visible on the timing screen, before Stowe asks for confidence from a car that needs something left in reserve. There's nowhere to hide here. A weakness that costs a tenth at a slower circuit becomes far more expensive when the straights are this long. And the time isn't lost in one obvious moment. A car length here, another there, corner after corner, the lap quietly slips away with no single point you can blame. So what is Mercedes doing differently? According to the race, Mercedes has developed a deployment strategy that keeps delivering electrical power deeper into the lap than its rivals, managing when the battery delivers and recovers energy without sacrificing cornering speed. It's not a more powerful battery, it's the same battery, used more efficiently through smarter timing. Imagine two cars accelerating out of the same corner, side by side. Both drivers get back on the throttle at the same moment, and both reach similar top speeds. But one car keeps receiving electrical assistance just a fraction of a second longer before the battery starts to fade. On one straight that's worth about a car length. Across a full Silverstone lap, with its long straights and high-speed corners, those small gains add up to several tenths of a second. Enough to be the difference between pole and the third row, between controlling the race and spending the afternoon stuck in dirty air. That's exactly why Wolff's genius comment landed the way it did. The kind of remark a rival team principal makes when he thinks someone has found something clever and wants the pit lane to know he's noticed. Mercedes believes this deployment edge will remain one of its biggest strengths at Silverstone. Kimi Antonelli leads the championship by 46 points, largely because of how well the Mercedes performs on circuits exactly like this one. Not because of one exceptional race, but because the car keeps finding lap time in the same place, weekend after weekend. Ferrari has watched that play out all season without a consistent answer, and no other team has been able to reproduce it either. Here's why. Mercedes never believed Ferrari had a genuine fix ready for Silverstone, because Ferrari simply can't change what matters most this early. The deployment issue sits inside the power unit. Ferrari's own engine chief called it relatively minor, but that doesn't mean a quick redesign is coming. The FIA's engine benchmark placed Ferrari's unit more than 4% behind Red Bull's, serious enough to earn 2 upgrade tokens. But the real fix, a redesigned turbocharger, isn't on the car at Silverstone. It's been pushed to at least Zandvoort, with Monza the more realistic target. Tokens help, but they require wind tunnel work, dyno testing, and validation that can't happen in a single race week. So Ferrari has already made its choice. Manage the difficult races now, and save the real solution for later. Silverstone is one of those races, a circuit that exposes exactly the weakness Ferrari can't fix with raw power, at the worst possible time. Ferrari has just confirmed Hamilton through 2027, committing its future to the very package that loses its electrical advantage at the end of every long straight. Against Mercedes here, it almost feels like bringing a knife to a straight-line fight. And with Antonelli 46 points clear, and Hamilton third, a bad weekend at a track built for Mercedes' strength makes the championship gap even harder to close before friendlier circuits arrive. If you enjoy the engineering side of F1, subscribe. This channel breaks down what actually decides these weekends. Based on everything so far, Ferrari looked beaten before the weekend even began. But that's where the prediction starts to unravel. If Ferrari can't fix the power unit, the only option is finding performance everywhere else. There's no single upgrade to point to. It's an entire setup philosophy. Ferrari trimmed the car for lower drag, sacrificing top speed less on the straights where the deployment deficit hurts most. That comes at a cost. Less rear wing means less downforce, and Silverstone is full of fast corners that demand grip. The setup had to walk an incredibly fine line, enough drag removed to stay competitive on the Hangar and Wellington straights, while keeping enough downforce to attack Copse and commit through Maggots and Beckett's, where raw commitment earns as much lap time as engine performance ever could. The idea was never to beat Mercedes in deployment. That fight can't be won before Monza. Instead, Ferrari built a lap designed to reach the finish line before the weakness had time to cost too much. Run too little wing, and the car slides through the fast corners, giving back everything gained on the straights. Run too much, and the deployment deficit takes over again. The window to get it right was razor thin, which is exactly what made Wolff call it genius. It was never a hidden engine mode or overnight breakthrough. It was one qualifying lap engineered to disguise a weakness Ferrari couldn't yet fix. And Mercedes understood immediately what that meant for how uncertain the weekend had just become. Then came Friday sprint qualifying. One flying lap, maximum attack, nothing in reserve. This should have been where Ferrari's deployment weakness was most exposed, especially down the Hangar and Wellington straights. Instead, Hamilton set the fastest lap of the session, a 1:28.376, and took pole by just 0.011 seconds over championship leader Kimi Antonelli, in the Mercedes built for exactly this kind of circuit. Less time than a blink. Nothing about the power unit had changed overnight. What changed was how Ferrari built the lap, a setup that minimized the deployment weakness, handed to a driver who knows Silverstone better than almost anyone, with a home crowd behind him. Hamilton didn't win because Ferrari suddenly had better deployment. He won because, for one perfectly executed lap, the deficit simply stopped mattering. If you enjoy breaking down the technical decisions behind F1 weekends, subscribe. Ferrari's plan worked, for one lap. The real question was what happened next, because a sprint pole is decided over a single flying lap, and a Grand Prix is not. When Saturday's sprint race arrived, with cars running closely together over multiple laps, the deployment advantage had time to show itself again. Antonelli and Mercedes converted it into victory. Then in qualifying for Sunday's race, Antonelli went even faster, a 1:28.111, the fastest lap of the entire weekend, and claimed pole. As soon as the challenge shifted from one perfect lap to sustained pace, the order everyone expected on paper came back. That's the honest reality of Ferrari's solution. It's genuine, and it works, but only under the exact conditions it was built for. One lap, low fuel, maximum attack, everything timed perfectly. Stretch that across a full race, where the battery has to harvest and deploy over and over, lap after lap down the same long straights, and the limitation Ferrari can't fully solve until later in the season reveals itself again. So heading into Sunday, the question isn't whether Ferrari found something clever. It clearly did, and even Wolff admitted as much, in the least complimentary way possible. The question is whether one brilliantly engineered qualifying setup can survive an entire Grand Prix against a Mercedes that keeps delivering power deeper into every straight. Hamilton starts near the front at his home race, in a Ferrari engineered to perform beyond what its power unit should allow. Antonelli starts from pole, with the championship advantage that Ferrari can't properly address before Monza. 46 points separate them. Hamilton sits third, and he has a home crowd and years of Silverstone memories behind him. Nothing has been decided yet, not even close.